I like Rolling Thunder, although I've always been a little confused by its status. I can understand seeing it as an interesting novelty in retrospect, as a distinctly 70s item, that is, partly, an item that would be entirely different if composed later in 1987. Yet Rolling Thunder was also considered a cut above the average exploitation revenge action exercise of the day, back in the day. I'm not exactly sure why this is, as whilst the film is certainly competent, felt, and permeating with nihilist realism, why snooty American film critics saw it as the exception is a bit lost on me. It could be called a Death Wish clone. One could point out the amount of talking before the action really gets into gear. It mightn't be unfair to note that the direction isn't exactly revelatory, though not unimpressive. And also, well, isn't the whole thing pretty one dimensional, if not quite charismatically so? John Flynn's earlier film, The Outfit, starring Robert Duvall and Joe Don Baker, I considered to be the superior feature, a more exciting, directorially assertive, memorable, and undeniably less depressing experience, which contains one of the most watchable and endearing final 10 minutes in potentially all of film history. William Devane is really quite good in the lead role, though possibly Tommy Lee Jones is the more memorable player, a cold, detached Vietnam vet who is unconditionally ready to support his fellow soldier in avenging his fallen family. One has to relish in film violence to really like this one, either as sordid entertainment, as a frank, brutish depiction of fleshy human ugliness, as something so convicted and consistent in its portrayal of violence as unequivocally repugnant that it becomes a thing of grotesque grace, or all three, via a pathos of punk-adjacent catharsis. Can't imagine popping it on all the time, but if I'm in the mood or need, yeah, I can dig Rolling Thunder. Not convinced I would think it to be considered a genre hallmark, were it just some random film I saw not knowing anything at all about it, its context, potential status, or even what its contents will be, though I can identify several merits within it that make it, if nothing else, highly recommendable to anyone who thinks they will have a memorable time sitting down with it.